Hello all. Today we'll be solving the day 2 of Advent of Code. So Advent of Code is a coding event that happens every year in December. This year it will be for 12 days. I've already solved the part 1. You can visit my GitHub repo if you wish to see the solution for it. Today we'll be solving the part 2. So part 2 is gift shop. So inside this gift shop, what happens is there is one elf that had inputted some wrong values, some incorrect IDs when it was doing some mischief. So suppose this is the range. So this is the range that we have, and in this range we have to determine if we have incorrect IDs or not. So how do we determine if the ID is invalid? The ID is invalid for the first part. It is when this happens, that is 5 appears twice or a substring appears twice. So that is the first way, part 1 that we have. So in this part 1 we'll get the invalid ID for 11 and 22, 11 and 22, or in this range 11 and 22. So if we have a range from 33 to 111, here we'll be having 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99. Will we have any other number? 110, 112? No. So here one thing we can see is that the substring that is there is divided into two parts. So what we can simply do is take the string that is there. First have a range from, suppose, start to end, where start is this number and end is this number. Let's take n plus 1. We'll have this number start to n plus 1, and after that we'll check if the first half of the string is equal to the second half of the string. If it is equal to the second half, then we'll add the number I. So this is the logic for the first part. Now we go to the second part. The second part, it says we'll have the string that is there, but the sequence, whatever the sequence it is, must be repeated at least twice. So what does this mean? That whatever sequence that we have, suppose it is 1 2, 1 2 is repeated 3 times over here, so it must be counted as an incorrect ID. As an invalid ID. So this is the new rule. For this new rule, what we can do is have a pattern. So the pattern, we all know that once we have a string, suppose of n length, to have a repeating pattern, the string has to be divided at least into n by 2. This should be equal to this. So what we can do is we can have the starting length of n by 2. So from n by 2 to 1. So if we have the n by 2 length, we can determine the pattern as the string from first to n by 2, and then multiply this pattern suppose we have that pattern, then multiply it with size, with n by size. Suppose this is n by 2 that we have, we'll have to be multiplying it to get the original string, suppose. So by what factor should we multiply it? So the multiplication should be equal to size. And what is size? Size is this. So if we have n by 2, then we'll have to multiply it by 2. Right? If we have 1, that is 1 is the substring, we'll have to multiply it by n. So that is how we are going to do it. Just a minute. So here you can see we have the code ready for it. In day 2, let's go and let's try to find. Let's first find for the part 1, then for the part 2. So for part 1, you can see we could have made it simpler just by having this num and then halving the 2, the start and the end. You have these two. Now instead of this for loop, what we could have done is divide the string into half, divide the string into half, and then compare. If the compare is equal, then we would have added. So here we are doing both the part 1 and the part 2 together. That is why we could see the code is a bit complex. So what we are doing over here, we have the start number, the end number. After that we are iterating from start to end. Now when we are iterating, we are converting the integer into string format. We are getting the length of the string. Now we will be iterating the size. So the size will iterate from n by 2, which is the integer multiplication, the integer division, to 0. So this will be a decreasing integer. Now here we are determining the pattern, and once we determine the pattern, we will be multiplying it with n divided by size that is there. Now how did we come to the conclusion of this? The n into size. So n into size we can determine by, if we are dividing the string into 2 parts, now we will have to multiply the pattern with 2, which is nothing but n divided by size, as size is n by 2. If we are dividing the string into 3 parts, which is n by 3, then we'll have to n by 3, which will give me 3 parts, 3 patterns. So this way we will compare if the pattern multiplied by n by size equal to s or not. So this will give us if the string is recurring or not. If the string is recurring according to the pattern, and then we'll have the part 2 added. Now over here you can see I have added for part 1. So for part 1, what we'll be doing is get the size, divide the string into two parts. That is, size is n by 2. And this will only be satisfied when the string is divisible by 2. If the string is not divisible by 2, we will be adding wrong answers. That is why this condition is important. After this, once the pattern is found and the respective numbers are added, we'll break from the loop. This is because we don't want the number to be added again and again and again. So once we get the least size, suppose it is 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Over here you can see if I divide the string into two parts, it will give us the answer. When will it give us the answer once more? So this is 4 and 4 8. When I divide the string into 4 parts, then also it will give us the answer. So for avoiding these duplicate calculations, we'll be breaking. You can add the data over here for the day 1 and the day 2 and compute your answer like this. Okay, thank you.